The calm before the storm.
I'll see you in Liechtenstein.
Lawsuit, I think, is misguided. In fact, the United States is the only country on the planet that has suggested XRP is a security. The idea that XRP is a security, it has traded out there for 8 years. You know, it's kind of like, well, if it was a security, I guess we should have known that a long time ago.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 24 Hours Crypto. Let's get right into today's video. We are going to piggyback off of yesterday's episode, and this is remarkable. Simon Johnson dropped bombshells indirectly targeting unregulated stablecoins. It is truly, truly remarkable, and this is a very, very important event. Listen to him.
This opportunity to, this is a fantastic and super important gathering.
And the fact that only 16 people on this planet has viewed this video, including you guys now. So let's see how much views this video gets. So it's 16 plus whatever we get in today's episode. So I listened to the whole 1 hour, 7 minutes, and you cannot put this on ×2 or you can't do any of that. It's from the IMF website. I'll leave the link in the description down below for you guys to listen to. But this is truly, truly remarkable. And the fact that Ripple and XRP are behind all of this, creating the guardrails, creating the ecosystem, it makes this video 10 times more epic. And the fact that he comes out here, okay, Simon Johnson comes out here and says he's got a lot of good stories locked up for 50 years that he cannot share to the public, but there's a couple in the public domain. And it's funny because if you guys recall, Mr. Luke, he is working at Ripple Global Partnerships at Ripple, and he replied to an individual on Twitter. He asked for a prediction, and he said, Jason, our lawyers would not allow me to answer this one. Okay. Like I said, there's a lot of NDAs, there's a lot of secrets that are being kept from the IMF, and obviously I don't need to, I don't need to convince you that this exists, right? But remarkable.
Now, let me fast forward to 2007, 2008, when I had the really great honor, the amazing privilege of becoming the chief economist at the International Monetary Fund. Now, this is almost 20 years ago, but I'm afraid all my really good stories are still locked up for another 50 years, so you don't have to worry too much about that. But I'm afraid all my really good stories are still locked up for another 50 years, so you don't have to worry too much about that. But some of this can now be told, and some of it has been told by John Lipsky, to whom I reported, who was then first Deputy Managing Director. So this is in the public domain.
And now take a listen to this quickly.
Looking ahead, and we don't know necessarily how that technology or those platforms will evolve and how integrated they'll be in economic life, but looking ahead, if you can, how are we going to deal with capturing of and representing economic data in a world of sort of decentralized finance and decentralized financial systems?
Yeah, that I think is a tough problem, Nigel, and I think we're going to have some difficult experiences along the way. I am co-chair of a group that's called the CFA Institute Systemic Risk Council. It was founded by Sheila Bair after the financial crisis.
Okay, so as he mentions Sheila Bair, okay, if you guys recall, we talked about Sheila in yesterday's episode. Sheila is on the advisory board of Ripple for RLUSD. This is going to go hand in hand of what he says about other stable coins. This is, folks, this is crazy stuff we're about to go over, okay? And also keep in mind, he is a professor at MIT since 1996, 29 years. So he was there when Satoshi was having contact with MIT individuals, with meeting with Epstein. It is insane. Just understand what this man knows. And he just told you the 50-year, the good stories that he can't tell. He locked away. Guys, come on. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Truly, please. This is some remarkable stuff. They're telling you, you guys see not a lot of people pay attention to this stuff. And that is why XRP holders are going to become so wealthy. It is going to be just truly remarkable. Like, there's not a day in my mind I doubt, $100 XRP ever. Not even a single day. And the fact that, and then again, if you think I'm dumb, if you think I'm retarded, guess who's retarded with me? Guess who's retarded with me? Susan Hadley. Okay, Susan's retarded with me. We're both retarded because she said a $33 XRP on the high end. Okay, this was their valuation framework. Remember, it's always great to address this because they left out so much goodies out here. Okay, a $33 XRP. And when you take a look at her experience, a professor at Harvard, okay, consulting chief economist at Microsoft for 6 years. Do you understand what that's a crazy role? That is an absolutely crazy role. Board member at Ripple for almost 13 years now, folks. Okay, and she's a professor at Stanford University School of Business. And remember, $93,000 Bitcoin high end by 2030, and we reached $127,000. So now take a listen to what he says here, and I'm going to break down exactly what Mr. Simon Johnson means. Okay.
United States. So I think that this is going to be a hard one to chase. I think I'm particularly worried that stablecoins might actually expand quite a lot in their footprint, including dollar-denominated stablecoins that are not situated in a US jurisdiction, and therefore not at all subject to visibility or measurement, let alone supervision and regulation, right, by any responsible US authority. And I think, I know the IMF has warned plenty of countries about getting too close to crypto or making crypto too important a part of their fiscal affairs or their payment system, and I think that's very wise. But I think this is going to be a bit of a rough ride, Nigel. Now, does it become big? Does it become systemically important? I mean, that's very hard to say, right? Because these things are always clearer in the rear view mirror. But I think that this combination of decentralization, opacity, and many of the activities that run through those channels is potentially very, very, very dangerous. So please do work very hard on it, but I think realistically we're going to have some problems.
So, and remember, this is coming from an individual that previously was working with the IMF as the chief economist. That is a very, very, very epic role to have. Okay, but take a listen to this. Okay, like I don't even know where to begin because he exactly explained what Ripple has been doing for years. Simon Johnson didn't mention Ripple. He wasn't talking about their services, like, you know, what they provide. He didn't talk about a specific stablecoin like RLUSD. He was talking about offshore, unregulated shadow stablecoins that the US can't see, can't audit, can't control, and can't monitor. And that's Tether. The IMF just threw Tether under the bus, and guess what? Everybody missed it. It is insane. Opacity means no visibility, no supervision, no regulatory oversight, no audits, and no transparency. And this is exactly why Ripple spent a decade getting beat up by regulators, audited, investigated, sued.
But I think that this combination of decentralization, opacity, and many of the activities that run through those channels is potentially very, very, very dangerous. So,
folks, this is it. Ripple became the most regulated, most supervised company in all of crypto. And people think this is all bearish. That is the single reason XRP is going to be the bridge asset of the new system once these stablecoins go into work. Because when Simon Johnson said stablecoins outside the US jurisdictions are dangerous, he was basically saying that we need the guardrails, we need transparent settlements, we need an infrastructure that the government can trust. Remember what we've been saying for a long time, trust is a linchpin for this. And guess who built that? Ripple, along with the IMF, for over a decade. If you listen to yesterday's video, it's all there. We've been in there since day one.
Countries need to work together to build new roads, railways, bridges, and tunnels using public digital platforms and compatible payment systems that connect.
Think about this world of digital money
as a global public good.
Ripple protocol now is open source. It's really a public good. Ripple Labs doesn't own it. Anybody can use it for free as they see fit, really like an HTTP for money.
And you don't need anybody's permission to interact with the XRP ledger, right? It's a public good.
And in a recent discussion in Zurich, where we both were, what we advocated for is to have a public platform. So when protocols are agreed, this public platform can connect different CBDCs. There can be interoperability, the same way you would transfer euros from one country to another. You do it using CBDCs.
Ripple CBDC solution enables central banks to create a private parallel network, a permissioned blockchain that you can issue a CBDC on, and then you can connect that to the main public XRP ledger. Our vision is to solve for interoperability between CBDCs while creating a virtual lab for central banks to experiment with new features.
Okay? And guess who has transparent ledgers and enterprise-grade compliance? Ripple. Even their escrow. And guess what? RLUSD, the highly regulated stablecoin right now with full audits, full visibility, full banking oversight. And Ripple just applied for their banking license too. Like, folks, do you not see what's being set up here? Okay? This isn't bearish. This is the IMF, the BIS, the central banks, Nobel Prize winners out here, literally all screaming. We cannot rely on OPEC offshore stablecoins. Here it is. Here it is. We're going to be delusional for maybe a couple more months, but they might still call us delusional when XRP's at $10, $20, $30, $40, but that's okay. We're in it for the long run. We know what we hold. This is a long-term play. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, because Simon just dropped very Nobel Prize wording sentences there, okay? This is why the smartest people in the world understand XRP. This is why the banks are quietly preparing behind the scenes. This is why Ripple keeps winning. This is why they built RLUSD. This is why they have ODL to plug into it. And this is why XRP is positioned for an explosion. The rest of the markets is too clueless to see what's coming.
We will take a close look at regulatory impediments to blockchain, stablecoins, and new payment systems. And we will consider reforms to unleash the awesome power of the American capital markets. Americans deserve a financial services industry that works for all Americans, including and especially Main Street.
While Ripple is literally building the global liquidity backbone for the next decades to come. Understand the importance of this. Once you implement these systems, you're in here for decades. 4 decades. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with another video.
The thing with these assets, though, is they always follow a hockey stick curve. As long as a specific asset class actually starts moving on-chain wholesale and you get true hockey stick adoption.
Well, I woke up this morning, check my bags on the chain. XRPL still humming while the FUD folks complain. Ripple fighting Goliath, yeah, the SSA's game. But Johnny D and Hogan, they're bringing the flame. So we salute to the rebels in suits, to the coders and hodlers wearing dusty old boots. Raise a toast to the ledger and the lawyers who bite, while taco stand dumps the middle of the night. Damn, Jed, can you chill? Brad G's on the mic saying clarity now, while Shorts codes the stars with the hologram cow watch. The haters keep chirping, but the people ain't blind. This ain't some mean dream, it's the internet's spine. Regulators stalling, but the clock's ticking fast. Ripple drops the case like a baseline blast. Communities united from Twitter to the street. We meme through the madness and never admit defeat. Yeah, we salute Hey Jed, you done yet? Or you got another dump scheduled for lunch? So here's to the warriors, the freaks, and the fans, waving salute tokens like battle flags in hand. It ain't just about coins, it's a movement, a pact. We defend what we build, and we're taking it back. Come on, salute to the ones in the fight, to the token that laughs in regulatory spite, to Schwartz, Brad, and the ones still believing, even while tacos stand